Hey, what's up guys, it's Blake, and today I'm going to be going over how to play Taking As You Please by The Story So Far off their new album, Proper Dose. So for this song, in terms of gear with the acoustic, I'm just using an acoustic straight into my interface and just adding a little reverb on the top. Very simple formula for the acoustic, and pretty much all my videos, but this one especially. So first off, I want to say this is the correct way to play the song in its alternative tuning. There are a lot of tutorials going around in standard tuning where it just uses the C and F chord, but that is not the correct way to play this. They play it in a dropped modified open C tuning. So we'll be going over that tuning really quickly before we get into the actual video. So that tuning is going to be C, G, C, G, C, and then E. So you're going to want to lower your first string, lower your second string, lower your third string, keep your fourth string as it is, tighten your fifth string, and leave the sixth string as it is as well. It's a really cool tuning, creates a very cool atmospheric sound, and just it sounds like this completely open. It's a really pretty tuning, and I really love what The Story So Far did in this record, so let's get into how to play this song. So in this song, there are only two different parts on acoustic, and they are both pretty simple. They both repeat a lot throughout each respective section. There's the verse and the chorus, and we're gonna be going over the verse first. So here's the verse part played up to speed so you can kind of get an idea of what it is. Pretty simple, it's just those two little progressions looped around. So let's start off with the first passage of the verse. It's based around the open chord that I showed off the tuning in at the first part. So to play this, you're gonna wanna have a strumming pattern of, and that's gonna be your verse pattern throughout the entire thing. Pretty simple pattern to really understand, and that's gonna be pretty constant throughout the entire song, not just the verse. So let's get into the first phrasing of the first passage. So it's gonna be an open chord to start, and then you're going to want to slide from 7 to 9 on the third string with all those other strings opening up as well. So it's going to sound like this. So you have that harmony going on throughout the guitar part. And it's really important to note in this situation that this is an open tuning, so all these open strings are going to be in the same key, so you really don't have to worry too much about what strings you're hitting and what strings you aren't hitting, because it's all going to be in the tune that you're going for. So again, it's going to be open, slide 7 to 9, and then you're going to want to jump up to the 9th fret on the second string, and you're just going to stay there for the remainder of that passage. So altogether it sounds like this. And that just loops around 2 times. So let's go over it one more time. So it's going to be open, slide from 7 to 9, and then jump to the 9th fret on the second string. So that part's pretty simple, and you just loop that twice. So altogether, up to speed, it'll sound like this. So then you're going to want to piece that together with the second part of the verse, which is based around the 5th fret on the first string. So you're going to want to start on a chord like the first one that goes 5 and then all open strings. So it's going to sound like this. So after you do that, in this little passage, you're going to hammer on from the 7th to the 9th on that third string instead of sliding like we did in the first one. So it's going to sound like this put together. You're going to want to let those strings ring out to have that full sound to it. And this time, instead of going to the 9th fret, we're going to go to the 7th fret and keep that 5th fret as our root. So it's going to sound like this. And that right there is pretty much the basis of the entire verse, and you're going to want to keep looping that over and over again. So altogether, it sounds like this. And that pretty much takes care of the verse part for the acoustic guitar. For the chorus, it's even simpler and even utilizes that same pattern from the first part of the verse. So the chorus is going to sound like this up to speed. So you're going to probably notice there in the second half that last part of the chorus is just that first part of the reverse, copy and paste it into it. So there's really nothing else you need to learn for that part, so we're just going to focus on the first 2 chords of this chorus. So the first one is going to be the 2nd fret of the second string and then all open below it. So it's gonna sound like this. And your strumming pattern is gonna be the same as in the first verse for that. So you're gonna take that second fret and then so the second chord in this progression is gonna be 5 on the lowest string, 5 on the second string, and then all open again. And that's really what I love about this tuning, because it's so easy to put together and really understand, because everything is in the same key. It's really great and really easy because of that. So right now we're gonna jump from that first chord to the second chord. It's really quite simple. For the fingering for this, I like to use my middle finger for that second fret. So when I come up to the 5th, I can slide my ring finger under it and put that middle finger on the 5th fret on the first string and the ring finger on the second fret of the second string, and allow everything to open up below that. So together it's gonna sound like this. Pretty simple, and again, you can even take your fingers off that second fret in that transition, because those open strings below it are gonna be in the same key and it's all gonna sound cohesive no matter what. So that pretty much takes care of it for the acoustic guitar in the song. Let's move on to the electric guitar. Okay, so let's go over the electric guitar in this song, which again, is a really simple one that doesn't require too much. So let's go over the gear I'm using for this section. So I'm just using an American Standard Stratocaster on my second position, and in this guitar I have a humbucker in the bridge slot and a single coil in the middle slot. So I'm using both those pickups in this one. So here's what my guitar tone sounds like completely clean. Pretty basic, clean tone on that. So to fit the original tone of the song, I'm gonna start by adding in some chorus, and I'm gonna go a little heavier on the chorus just to give it a little more sparkle and shimmer. So it's gonna sound like this. So next I'm just gonna add in a little reverb, and on this one, I am using a chorale setting on a Strymon Big Sky, which pretty much adds a little bass and adds a lot of harmony to the actual reverb. So it's gonna sound like this. I really like that setting because it's a huge, big, harmonious sound, and I feel like it fits really well into this song. And lastly, I'm just gonna throw in some delay, and for this I'm just using pretty much a standard analog delay that kind of fades out and gets darker as it goes down. So it's gonna sound like this. So that delay is very far in the background, and this is just meant to focus on the reverb and the chorus. So again, there's only 2 parts in this song that you really need to know: an interlude and a chorus part. And all the other parts in the song are based upon the focus of those 2 parts. So this section is going to be in standard tuning, so you don't really have to change anything going on with your strings. You just have to plug in, use the right effects, and play. So for the first section, it's going to be the interlude right after the first chorus when the full band comes in. So up to speed, this is going to sound like this. So that part again is super simple. It's gonna all base around pretty much the 7th to 10th fret on the middle 3 strings. It's gonna be pretty easy to get down. So we're gonna start on the 8th fret of our 5th string, and we're going to hammer on to our 10th and pull off onto our 8th. So it's gonna sound like this. And so going right from that, we're gonna hit the 9th fret on our 4th string, and then the 10th fret on our 3rd string. You're gonna wanna do that all in a continuous rhythm, so it's gonna sound like this. And you're gonna wanna hold that 10th fret for a quarter note, and then jump back to the 8th fret on your 5th string and hit 2 half notes. So again, it's gonna sound like this. And you're gonna wanna add some vibrato to those help notes to really give it some flavor and stick out a little bit in the mix. So the second part in this little interlude section, you're gonna do the same little pull off hammer on technique. And instead of going to the 10th fret on the 3rd string, you're gonna go to the 7th fret on the 4th string. So it's gonna sound like this. Instead of jumping back to that first 8th, you're gonna stay on that 7th. So the second part is even easier than the first one. So the second part played slow is gonna sound like this. For Very simple, and you're just gonna wanna piece them together and loop them throughout that entire interlude. So the verse section of this song is just gonna be that first part of the interlude looped throughout the entire thing. So what I'm talking about is this one right here. And you're gonna also use that to finish out the song after the last chorus. So the chorus is the only different part, and that only has one little different segment. So the chorus is gonna start on the 9th fret of the 4th string. You're gonna hammer onto the 10th fret, pull off onto the 9th, go to the 10th, and then back to the 9th again. So slow, it's gonna sound like this. And so the second part of the chorus is just gonna be, again, that 8 to 10 phrase that is pretty much the foundation of the electric guitar in this entire song. So the chorus all played together is gonna sound like this. It's a very simple part that's going to loop throughout the entire chorus and every single chorus within the song. So that is pretty much it for the guitar parts in this song. I really hope you enjoyed it. It was a very simple one to put together. The only hard part is probably going to be mastering that tuning on the acoustic guitar, but for the most part it's a very repetitive song. I really hope this lesson was helpful and enjoyable. If you're confused about anything, you can always check my cover below, which will be linked in the description. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button and subscribe to both this channel and my main channel where I do covers. And I hope to see you next time for another tutorial. Thank you.